Hey, welcome back to True-Moto-Resto, and today I finally get some space back in the shop. It's been pretty darn crowded in here because I've got all the bikes up here, plus I still have the snowmobiles. The sleds are still here. But today we're going to finally move these guys out to the other building because we're ground is going to be probably solid enough. We maybe have a little bit of skiff of snow on the ground, one or the other, and we can get these guys out of here and move some bikes over here into this area and give me a bit of breathing room. But maybe for those who are not familiar with snowmobiles, I'll just give you a bit of a rundown. Of course, if you're in a country or a state or province or what have you where you get a lot of snow, you probably know all about these things. And this isn't going to be that interesting for you, but if you've never seen one of these things before, they're a lot of fun. And there's, I guess, 4 or so main manufacturers, certainly for us here in Canada. Skidoo, which is what these guys are, made by Bombardier Recreational Products. There's also Yamaha, Arctic Cat, and Polaris as the, I guess, the top manufacturers, those top 4 or so. But these particular sleds are, this one's a 2017 Renegade 850, and that is a 2018 Freeride 850. Both of these machines have a 137-inch track, which is not the longest you can get, but it's also not the shortest. I think they start at 129-inch and go up to like 160 something, 164, even 170 for the mountain sleds. But both of these machines have 2 strokes, 850C twin cylinder 2 strokes, and they both put out about 165 horsepower, something like that. There are more powerful machines than this. Quite a number of the sleds now are turboed, both 2-stroke turbos, 4-stroke turbos. These 2 strokes are fully EPA emissions compliant. They burn super clean. A lot of high-tech stuff goes into the snowmobile industry. And the engines are very reliable. A lot different than the old 2-stroke sleds from long ago. But this machine, the Renegade, it's basically a trail, what they call a trail sled. They call it a crossover, but it's not really. It's just a long track trail machine. And it's got, you can see from the lugs on the track here, they're not that big. Those are 1 1/4 inch. And it's a pre-studded track, so you can see kind of, that's why there's kind of shit all stuck to the track here. There's actually ice studs in the track there. Kind of just gives you a bit more traction when things get a little icy or hard packed. But yeah, this is basically, I'm just a flatlander, so I just run the groomed trails. I think in Ontario there's, I don't know, 40,000-50,000 kilometers of groomed trails in the wintertime. And you pay about $200 for a trail pass for a year. But they're fast. This, I think this one was rated at the time when it was new, I think close to 185, 190 kilometers an hour. So let me tell you, on a sled, I've never done that speed on this machine, and I wouldn't want to. It's, I guess if you've got a groomed flat as a pancake, a lake with no cracks on it, and it's been a groomed drag track or something, then you could potentially do it with a bit more safety. But there's not too many places where you could open one of these things out unless it's some sort of a groomed surface. It would just be too dangerous, certainly not on the trails. And then this machine is, as I said, it's a 2018 852 stroke as well. But this is, I guess, more of a true crossover machine. This is probably a lot more capable off trail than it is on trail, to truth be told. It has it's got wider skis on the front than mine. So this is my son's, that's mine. The old man stays to the trails, but you can see maybe the ski width there. The black skis are quite a bit wider than the orange skis for the deeper snow. It's got a narrower track. So basically from the center of the ski to the center of the ski is much narrower than that one. And it's also adjustable. You can make it narrower or wider, depending on the kind of riding you're gonna do. And then the track on this is also quite a bit. I think these are, I don't know, 2.5-inch paddles on this thing. So you can move a lot of snow, a lot of deep snow in this machine. And it's geared differently. It's clutched differently. So while it would have about the same horsepower, you're not really after top speed in this. You're into low-end power and torque. This thing can stand on its tail quite easily. And I think it spends more time with the skis off the ground than it does on the ground, to be honest. But yeah, it's got bags of power, and it's takes certain kinds of talents to ride these things in the deep snow and in the trees. My son is a technical rider, spends a lot of time in the trees and the bush and deep snow riding. It's got these bars so you can kind of lean off one side and still kind of hang on to this with one hand if you're hanging way over. So it's got I think you put a slightly lower riser on here too, but yeah, you get them with longer risers, so you're standing up the majority of the time. It has a much smaller seat, a harder, I would say less comfortable seat, but he hardly ever sits down on it anyway. You're typically standing up. And yeah, it's a fun time in the winter. You get to have some way to get out on a motor vehicle up here in the north. So this is how we do it. Alright, so the sleds are out of here, so now I can get some semblance of organization back into the shop. There's a little bit of two-stroke smoke in here today, but that'll air out soon enough, so let's get things reorganized. So order has been restored to the shop, finally. And now I don't feel like I'm working in a sardine can. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe.